A confidential, internal Ministry of Education report has revealed the government acknowledged more than 15 years ago that religious instruction in state schools may be discriminatory. The report was obtained under the Official Information Act, but it took nearly 2 years and appealed to the Ombudsman before it was released by the ministry. It will be used by the Secular Education Network in an upcoming case at the Human Rights Tribunal, which wants schools to teach a wide range of religions as well as atheism, rather than solely Christianity. Here is our reporter, Zach Fleming, with more.
16 years ago, the Ministry of Education identified in a confidential internal report that religious instruction at state schools could be discriminatory and at odds with the Human Rights Act. The problem, the ministry's legal department said, is that atheist and non-Christian students are forced to either attend classes that are against their beliefs or exclude themselves. Labour MP Trevor Mallard was the Education Minister at the time in 2001.
I thought the amount of discrimination was negligible, and the overall value of the religious education, bar values education, was something that individual principals and boards of trustees should make decisions on, not central government.
He chose to stick with the status quo, despite the warning that it could be discriminatory. Mr Mallard says at the time he was hopeful religious instruction in state schools would grow.
Not so much as sort of evangelising for a particular religion, but to look at comparative religion and different value systems.
But that didn't happen. Today, the vast majority of state schools that do offer religious instruction offer Christian teaching only. So the Secular Education Network has taken the issue to the Human Rights Review Tribunal, arguing that the teaching of one religion is discriminatory and breaches the Bill of Rights Act. Tanya Jacobs is part of that case. Her daughter was allegedly told she would go to hell for not believing in God.
When you have to opt out because somebody's getting special treatment to have their religion promoted in the classroom, and then in the process of opting out you get to miss out on the fun and the lollies and what have you that the rest of your class are getting, that's not right. If you do let them go in the classroom so that they can take part in all of the fun or whatever, and they come home and they're all worried because they think their family's going to go to hell because they didn't go to church last weekend, or they think that they're going to go to hell because their parents aren't married.
Tanya fought for nearly 2 years to get hold of the 2001 report.
In June 2014, I sent the request to them. In August, I got a heavily redacted document that had anything pertaining to religion blacked out.
Tanya'd asked for the Ministry of Education's compliance review into whether its legislation abided by the Human Rights Act. It's a process every ministry went through in the early 2000s. The Ministry of Education said the redactions were in order to maintain legal privilege.
In March 2015, I passed that on to the Ombudsman, and it took over a year to May 2016 before I finally got the full release. And they fought it quite hard for it to take over a year to get that information.
Right. So they were clearly very reluctant to give this to you. Why do you think that is?
It's a very sensitive topic, I suppose, and they don't really want to deal with it.
The Education Minister, Nikki Kaye, said it was inappropriate for her to comment, as the issue is currently before the Human Rights Commission. So we approached a state school for their take. Alan McIntyre has been principal of Owairoa Primary in Auckland's Howick for more than a quarter of a century.
I don't have an issue with just teaching Christian living personally. I can see where they're coming from, but I would suggest let things happen as they're happening.
Owairoa's board is considering teaching other religions, but has no set plans. Mr McIntyre says the instruction classes are reviewed every year and the response is always positive, but he has had to raise some issues with the school's provider.
Some will go into dying and being born and so on, and that's probably not appropriate for younger children.
A date is yet to be set for the Human Rights Review Tribunal hearing, but Tanya says she's confident the report she obtained, along with other evidence, proves discrimination. For Checkpoint, Zach Fleming.